While hiking northwest Georgia's Pinhoti Trail on August 20th, 2022, I took 104 photos, all of them before 1:36 p.m. After that, I was in no condition to take any photos. So each photo that you'll see here, except the last, was taken before 1:36 that afternoon. A few hours earlier, I had parked at the Snake Creek Gap trailhead on Georgia Highway 136 in Walker County. I took the first photo at 11:41 a.m. Then I headed north, intending to walk 5 miles to Swamp Creek, turn around, and hike back. It would be a 10-mile outing on a typical summertime afternoon in the Georgia mountains. In May and July, I had seen 2 large bears, or the same large bear twice, on this trail. Both were close, the second less than 10 feet away. Bear encounters happen occasionally and typically aren't cause for concern, and on this trip it wouldn't be bears, or the heat, that I had to contend with. At about 1:30 p.m. I was 4 miles into the hike when I felt sudden, intense pain near my right Achilles tendon. I looked down and saw a large stinging hornet just above my sock. I swiped at it with my hiking stick but missed, giving it another second or two to continue stinging. Finally, I knocked it to the ground and stomped on it. The sting hurt, but I've been stung many times over the years without any problems. So after pausing a moment, I proceeded. About 100 yards further down the trail, I stopped. Something didn't feel right. I had been sweating profusely in the heat, but now the amount of perspiration seemed unnatural. I was overcome by sudden, intense weariness. For a moment I considered proceeding. Just a mile remained to the creek. But then I chose to be safe and turned around and began the 4-mile hike back to my truck. Going back, the extra 100 yards I'd covered since the sting were barely uphill, yet the effort required for the short, easy climb left me exhausted. I wanted to sleep. I didn't know if I could manage the uphill stretches over the next 3 miles. Stopping often to rest, I frequently sipped water from a quart bottle, carefully trying to make it last. I took a break and sat on a rock, then another on a log, then another on a smooth boulder where I lay down and napped for 15 minutes. There were many stops like that, and there were welts on my waist and legs and feet and the upper parts of my arms. It was a bad reaction to the sting. This surprised me since I had never experienced this before. Just how bad would it get? Would I be able to keep going? Would I make it back to the truck before dark? Was there a chance I might not make it at all? One reassuring thing was that I wasn't having difficulty breathing, so I continued, slowly, haltingly, stubbornly. After 3 miles, I reached the end of the rolling terrain on the ridge crest. The last mile would be downhill. It had been 3 hours since the sting. The welts and itching were getting worse. I was exhausted, sweating much, and had drained the quart of water. But I knew I was going to make it. And I did. Then I made the 25-minute drive home, showered, had dinner, and sat down. Although I was comfortable, the welts continued to spread, covering me from the bottoms of my feet to my neck. Then my mouth and tongue became numb, making it difficult to talk. Still, I had no trouble breathing, so I chose not to go to the emergency room. By midnight, the symptoms slowly began to abate. I fell into a welcome sleep. When I awakened the next morning, there were no lingering signs of the reaction. A European giant hornet was the culprit that day. These are the only true hornets in North America. Large and typically unaggressive, it is rare for a European giant hornet to sting humans, but they'll do so when something large, like a bear, has been digging into one of their nest holes in the ground. When a human happens by soon after, the hornets may mistake them for a threat and become aggressive. I wondered what might happen the next time I got stung. As it turned out, the next time was 2 weeks later on the Jacks River Trail in the Cohutta Wilderness area. This time I knocked 2 European hornets off quickly. I sat down on a log and waited to see what happened. There was no reaction whatsoever. But I won't forget August 20th, 2022. Now I know to keep an eye out for European giant hornets on late summer hikes. And I happened upon this swarm yesterday afternoon at a knothole in a chestnut oak on Lavender Mountain in Floyd County. They let me pass unmolested, thank goodness. Thank you for watching this Georgia Backroads program. If you enjoy content like this, please subscribe to this YouTube channel.